Water, breath, word, the shift that connects us all. Prequel to the Natural Standing Handbook. Truth beyond illusion, movements, and masks. Key definitions for the purposes of this document/video. Truth and alignment. To be in alignment is for your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your entire way of being to match natural law and integrity. There is no gap, no hidden motive, no performance. Truth is not what you believe. Truth is what is, and standing in it means you take full responsibility for every part of yourself without exception. I have been asked to carry this. Equals, I take full, unreserved liability for every word I speak to be true. Key, YHWH/Yahweh. YHUH. This is not a name to be worshipped as an external deity. It is the sound and rhythm of life itself. Yod. The gentle start, the incoming breath, the spark, the beginning of all existence. He, the breath released, life flowing, consciousness revealed. Vav, the connecting flow, the bridge between spirit and form, the constant movement that holds all things together. He, the full cycle, the return, the sustaining breath that never ends. YHWH is the incoming and outgoing breath. It is the pulse of consciousness, the flow of natural LOR moving through every living thing. It is not something outside you. It is what you are. Prequel, the label they gave us. For thousands of years, we have been taught to see Yahweh as the Jewish God, a separate, distant, judgmental being, one religion's deity, someone you have to beg, obey, or perform for to be heard. We have been handed this version, this label, this division, and we have accepted it without question. It has been used to split people apart, to claim chosen ones, to set one group above another, to build walls between us and what is actually real. It has been turned into something outside you, something you can only reach through priests, through rituals, through following rules written by men. But that is not what this is. That is not who or what this actually is. What we're going to talk about now strips all of that away. We are going to look past the label, past the religion, past the story they told us, and see what was there long before any of those things were ever made. Introduction. Everything I am about to share with you is not something I learned from books or gurus or anyone else's teaching. It is what I have seen, what I have lived, and what I have tested to be true, aligned with natural LOR. This connects directly to what I have laid out in the Natural Standing Handbook, the 20 natural LOR cheat codes, the Gospels of Thomas and Mary, and all the truths that strip away the confusion, the rituals, the complications, and the lies piled onto the simplest facts of existence. Today we will look at what water really is, what breath really is, what Yahweh actually means, how your own words and choices build or dissolve the world you see, and how all of this ripples out to shift consciousness across the whole planet. There is nothing here you need to believe on faith. You only need to measure it against what you know deep inside yourself. 1. Water, consciousness, and form. Water holds memory. That is not a metaphor. It is how it works. And if water holds memory, then water carries consciousness. We are taught that around 70% of this realm and 70% of your own body is water. But if we include the ether, the finer, less visible state of that same substance, then there is far more than that. Water is everywhere, in every form, in every space. That is the physical proof that everything is connected at all times. There is no true separation. And look at ice. It is still water, nothing added, nothing taken away. It is simply the same substance, its frequency slowed down, its atoms moving more slowly until it becomes solid, until it takes form. That is the blueprint for all of reality. Everything you see, everything you touch, every form that exists is simply frequency, slowed down enough to appear solid. What looks like rock, like wood, like flesh, like object, is all movement, all vibration, all consciousness, simply resting at a different speed. And because we are all made of this same substance, what shifts in one shifts in all. 2. Yahweh, the rhythm of life itself. So what then is Yahweh? It is not a name for a separate being, a distant God, or someone above you looking down. Yahweh is simply the incoming and outgoing breath. It is the steady, constant flow of life moving through you right now, the breath that brings consciousness in and releases it back out. That is why it is also the flow of consciousness itself. It is the very movement that carries awareness, that connects what is within you to what is all around you. This rhythm was never meant to be worshipped like a ruler or a king. It was meant to be recognized as what you are. Before any temples were built, before any rituals were written, before anyone claimed power over it, this breath was already moving, already holding everything, already alive. Yahweh is not outside you. It is the pulse of your own existence and the pulse of the whole world. 3. Why I am sharing this. The illusion within the illusion. I did not come here to claim authority or to start a new teaching or to tell anyone what they must believe. I am sharing this in my own words, in my own voice, only because I have been asked to carry it, to strip away the layers and show what was always there before all the labels and divisions were added. Most people see the corruption out there, the governments, the courts, the systems, the obvious lies. But I see something far deeper, the illusion within the illusion. It is not just the rules they made up. It is the way we have been taught to think, to feel, to see ourselves, the masks, the beliefs, the constant pull to do what is easy, what gives the most comfort instead of standing with what is real. It is the quiet, hidden cage we carry inside us that keeps the whole show running long after we know something is wrong. This is never just about beating a court or winning a fight against one part of the system. This is about a complete change of being. It is about dissolving the very foundation the system stands on by no longer feeding it, no longer agreeing to it, no longer carrying the patterns that keep it alive. I have walked this path for a very long time, and I have seen the fatal mistake everywhere. People choose what is easy, what feels comfortable, instead of standing with what is real. They bend, they twist, they compromise their integrity just to stay comfortable. And in doing so, they keep the illusion right in place. That is exactly where it all falls apart, where it all turns to nothing. I do not ask you to follow me. I only ask you to measure what is said here against what you already know deep within yourself. Stand with what is real. That is the only thing that ever dissolves the illusion. 4. Breathe. The simplest truth they made complicated. If breath is consciousness, if breath is spirit, then why do we think we need special meditations, special breath work, special yoga, or expensive methods to get it right? It is another one of those gimmicks. It puts the power outside you again, makes you believe you need someone else's technique, someone else's permission to connect to what is already moving through you. The truth is far simpler. Go stand among the trees, walk the beach, mow the lawn, move your body, breathe deep, fresh air, and you are doing it. You are exercising your ability to receive, to flow, to be present with consciousness. This ties directly to natural law cheat code 1, balance is the only constant, and code 5, all life is connected. When you breathe freely and naturally, you align with both. You do not need to pay anyone or follow a system or do it perfectly. It does not need to be fancy. It does not need to be complicated. We have forgotten that the most powerful things in life are free, natural, and always available. We have been taught to add layers, to attach rituals, to make things look special, when reality was never anything more than exactly this: breathing, moving, being alive. 5. Reverence, not worship, and how you tear down the veil. Yahweh, this breath, this flow of life, it does not need worship. It does not need you to bow down, recite words, or perform rituals. What it needs is appreciation. It needs you to absorb it. It needs a clear channel. And that means putting down the devices. That means stopping the endless flood of information that has nothing to do with what is real. That means stopping chasing outcomes, stopping chasing the next promise, stopping chasing what someone else tells you you should become. There is only one thing that deserves your true reverence, only one thing that is worthy of being held as sacred: the truth. And this is where so many get it completely backwards. We have talked before about the veil, and it is worth saying again, because nothing matters more than this. The veil is not put over your eyes by someone else. You weave it yourself, thread by thread, every single day. It is woven when you accept a lie, when you tell a lie to yourself or another, when you accept manipulation or use it to get what you want, when you accept being controlled or reach out to control someone else, when you hand your power away to stories, authorities, or things that do not exist in nature. No meditation, no crystal, no portal ritual, no workshop in the world can dissolve that veil for you. Because lying, manipulating, controlling, these are choices. They are actions you take, and only you can choose to stop taking them. This is exactly what Natural LOR Cheat Code 3 says. What you send out returns, not as reward or punishment, but as echo. Every thread you pull from the veil is felt across the whole field. Every time you stand clear, you make it easier for everyone else to stand clear too. I have watched this happen. I have seen people carry years of weight, years of struggle, years of confusion, and the moment they simply become conscious of what they are saying, what they are doing, what they are accepting, and choose to turn it around, correct it, stand straight in it, you watch that weight lift right off them. You watch the fog clear. You watch the world start to shift for them. That is not magic. That is simply stopping weaving the veil. That is simply clearing the channel so the truth can flow through you again. You do not need to earn it. You only need to choose it. 6. The word is the beginning, and the beginning never changes. It says in the ancient text, "In the beginning was the word." But we have come to see something far deeper. The word is the beginning, and the beginning is constant. Creation is not something that happened once, long ago. Creation is happening right now, every moment, through the words you speak. If you speak truth, you create. You build clarity, you build alignment, you build something that stands firm. If you speak lies, you do not create anything real. You only create chaos, confusion, and loops that go nowhere. And look where we are now. We see it everywhere, even in the communities that claim to seek truth. One side does something, people fill in the gaps with what they want to believe is happening, push it out as fact, and suddenly the whole world is talking about something that never even was. It is not always malice, not always an intentional lie, but we are so far out of alignment with nature, so starved for something real, that we grab at anything that looks like hope and call it truth. That is how we end up in this mess. But the power of the word does not come from memorizing etymology, special phrases, or secret definitions. It comes from intent. It comes from frequency. When you speak clearly, honestly, aligned with what is real, your words carry weight, because the beginning is constant. The order that set all things in motion never stopped working. This is how the global shift happens. You do not need to convince billions. You simply align your own words, and the field carries that frequency to every soul that is ready to receive it. Natural Elor Cheat Code 2 reminds us, give and receive as one. Your truth is not just for you. It is the signal that cuts through the noise for everyone. You do not need to wait for someone else to fix this. You do not need to wait for a sign. When you return your words to truth, you change the foundation right under your feet, and reality shifts in a heartbeat. 7. Spirit, the living flow that binds it all. So what is spirit and how does it tie all of this together? Spirit is source in motion. It is the consciousness that lives in water, the breath that moves in and out of you, the life force that Yahweh describes, the power that gives your words weight. It is not something separate, something distant, something you have to travel to find. It is the very movement of existence itself. It is spirit that slows its frequency to become form, to become ice, to become rock, to become flesh, to become you. It is spirit that flows through every tree, every wave, every breath you take. And it is spirit that responds instantly when you speak with truth and clear intent. When you lie, when you manipulate, when you accept control, you block that flow. You disconnect from your own spirit, and so you feel lost, heavy, like nothing works. But when you clear the channel, when you breathe deep, when you speak true, when you stop weaving the veil, you are simply letting spirit flow as it was always meant to. Spirit does not need rituals. It does not need permission. It does not need to be summoned. It is already here. It is already you. It is the link between water and breath, between word and world, between you and all that is, and between every single being on this planet. Final conclusion, one shift, all shift. So all of this comes down to one simple truth. Nothing here is complicated. Nothing here is out of reach. You do not need special tools. You do not need secret knowledge. You do not need to wait for someone else to come and fix things. Everything you need is already right here in what you are, what you speak, and what you choose. The system is a mirror. It shows you exactly what we all hold inside: the fear, the lies, the need to control, the willingness to hand our power away. You cannot change the reflection by yelling at it or fighting it or trying to rewrite what it shows. You change the mirror only by changing what stands before it. And because we are all connected through water, through breath, through spirit, your shift ripples out further than you can see. You do not have to carry the whole world. You only have to carry your own alignment. To dissolve the veil, you do not climb a mountain or pay for a ceremony. You simply put down the distractions, slow the endless busyness, stop filling your mind with noise that has nothing to do with what is real. Breathe deep and remember the life moving through you. Speak truth and stop giving energy to what is not real. Stop lying, stop manipulating, stop grasping for control, and stop accepting them from anyone else. Clear the channel so spirit can flow freely again. Everything I have shared in the Natural Standing Handbook, every code, every insight, every clearing, is simply showing you how to do exactly this. How to stand firm in natural Elor, how to stop feeding the old world, and how to let the new one rise through you. That is all it takes. That is how you change your life. That is how the whole world shifts. It starts with you. Always has. Always will. Disclaimer. Everything shared here is spoken in my own words, in my own voice, from what I have lived and tested to be true. Craig Ronald, 26/1/18.